Hey everyone, Ben here, and I don't want to bring you video introductions like this. This channel's a place of positivity and enthusiasm for sim racing, but this week on iRacing has been so bad, I don't have a choice, even if the footage on screen makes us all look very silly. Now there's actually a really good race coming up, but before that, I'm going to have a bit of a rant, because the driving standards in the iRacing Super Formula that I've witnessed this week are an embarrassment. Many drivers still can't control this car. Horrendous starts wipe out half the grid, and there's avoidable spins and crashes all over the place. And the racecraft is often so bad that it stinks out the entire lobby. I could have included at least 6 minutes solid of daft crashes from just 4 races. And the key point here is how many drivers end up having their races ruined, even if they're not at fault. Now these races on screen all had a strength of field above 2.2k. These are not rookie grids, and I know that everyone makes mistakes. I make plenty, and I cover a lot of them on this channel. But this must improve if Super Formulas to thrive. These are not just cars to hop into. If you can't drive them fast, then drive them slowly and safely. And if you can't manage that, then drive them offline, or even don't drive them at all. If you agree with me, hit the like button and strap in for my final attempt at a decent race this week. Spoiler alert, it's actually a bit of a banger. Right then, we're waiting for the lights. We're starting from the very back of the grid here. I messed up both of my qualifying laps with small off tracks, paid a heavy price for it as we get underway, because heading into T1 up the hill, starting at the very back of the grid, you just know you're going to come across accidents and have to take avoiding action. But actually, as we get through the corner, being super cautious, actually everybody made it through in one piece. We're going to be passing a car to our left hand side who's taking it even more gently than I am on this opening lap, and head up to T3, another point of maximum danger as we get heavy on the brakes. Cars on the inside do come together. We have to take avoiding action on the runoff. I didn't want to get snagged on it, and here comes our race information back up on screen. I had a problem with my recorded footage, so apologies it wasn't there for the race start, but we can now hopefully start settling down. But I say that, there's a car up ahead with no rear wing. That's Will Robinson, clearly been in the wars through the start of this race. I'm going to have to be very careful around his car. He may not even know that he doesn't have a rear wing. As we come through the downhill left hand, he gets a big snap. That's what happens when you've got no rear downforce. Thankfully, he manages to hold the car. We manage to get down his inside, and we are clean and past now. But there's a big gap to the pack of cars up ahead that I'm going to have to set about reining in. But it looks like we've made up around 4 positions on this opening lap just by being careful. We managed to get off the back of the grid, and now the challenge is, can we get into the mid-pack through the rest of this race? The cars up ahead not too far away from us. If I can string some clean and consistent laps together, then maybe we can be fighting for the fringes at least of the top 10. And we fast forward onto lap 3, and indeed we have now caught up with a huge gaggle of cars who are all going side by side into T3, a puff of tyre smoke as somebody's locked up ahead, and everybody is slowing each other down here. That has done me a big favour. We're actually up into 17th position as another driver had to come into the pits from up ahead. We get hard on the brakes again, tricky downhill braking zone, and then straight into a right-hander, and my eyes are on stalks at this point. I am super sensitive to the fact that somebody could just drop it up ahead and that could cause a massive accident. So although I am trying to keep pace with these guys up ahead, I'm also just leaving a little bit of margin. I don't really want to follow within 0.1, 0.2 seconds on bits of the track where I've got no chance of overtaking, because if I do that, somebody makes a mistake up ahead, I have got no chance to react to it. I'll just be caught in their accident as well. We come through the very tricky double right-hander, very easy to get off tracks there. That's how I threw away my qualifying laps, and we are following Paul Challoner very closely behind you into T1 again, just hoping that everyone gets through alright, and they have, but we look like we might have got a decent run on Challenger here. I'm going to use my push to pass to try and get alongside. He's covering off the inside. This is going to be very difficult to mount an overtake around the outside. We've got a car with a poor connection up ahead. That's slightly distracting, and actually it just takes my eye off the prize, and it allows Challenger to defend on the inside, and he holds the position even though we had a very decent overspeed on him there. He might now though be straight on the attack. Alex Otero looks like he's running slow. Challenger's down his inside. Once again, I'm just watching to see if the two drivers come together, but this is actually really good racing between the two of them, running side by side through multiple corners. We nearly get in, just a little bit hot to the left-hander. I'm able to hold the car and we get through safely, and it looks as if Otero has seen off the challenge of Challenger for now. We fast forward onto lap 6 then, and still this gaggle of cars, we're all duking it out, doing battle. Challenger does get around Otero there, so now it's my turn. Can we get past Otero? I'm assuming he's running with some kind of damage because he's definitely struggling, and he's a 2.6k driver. We're along his outside here then, into the downhill right-hander. Again, very tricky to hold a move around the outside there, and we're not able to do it, but we have invited the attention of Sebastian Le Bon behind. We're just able to hold a narrow, tighter line through the left-hander. It's a slower line, but it means we do hold off Le Bon behind, and we're still following Otero very, very closely. He's only 0.2 seconds up the road, but he himself now is challenging Alberto Rios, who's running even slower, and Rios gets right out of it into the fast right-hander. I can understand that he was under pressure there, but that very nearly caught me out. I could have ran straight into the back of him there, but we made up another position. We do also get another off-track. That's 5x already in this race. I haven't made significant contact with anybody. This combination is an absolute killer for your safety rating, but for now I'm just focused on closing in on Otero. I've got a big chance here. We've got overspeed. I'm not using the push to pass, but it doesn't matter. I'm now going to be able to peel to his inside. Can I get on the brakes and hold the car? We're side by side into the apex. I've got to leave him space on the outside, and we just about do, and we are now through and up another position. Let's take a look at it on replay. Really happy with this move. Great racing. There's a small lock up there from Otero on the outside, a tiny bit of contact on the very exit of the corner, but look from this perspective, I just leave a car's width just about, including the curb there. It was tight, but a good move all in all. We rejoin the live action then on lap 8, and we're now up to P14, so we've made up 8 positions in this race so far, and we're still hot on the heels of the pack of cars up ahead, as again vying for position. You could see there Rusty Kruger and Nathan Demere going side by side, and somebody locked up their tyres. Paul Challoner, still the driver, immediately ahead of us on track, as again we're down into the difficult braking zone. Try and hug the inside there and get on the gas as early as you can without lighting up the rear tyres. Lots of drivers spinning off there. It's a very difficult corner. And speaking of spinning out, look up ahead. Rusty Kruger has lost that car. He's gone off into the gravel. It looks as if he just gets a snap of oversteer, overcorrects, and then he's very fortunate not to collect some other cars. We rejoin the live action again, still on lap 8, because the cars up ahead still bunched very closely together, but we're now going to be up into P13, so we're continuing to make progress in this race as other drivers struggle to keep the car on track. A theme really of this week's combination in the Super Formula. Down into third gear, into T1, again mega tricky to just find the quickest line through this corner. We're not going to be close enough to Challoner this time around to make a pass up the hill and into T3, so I've just got to be very careful here that nothing else happens up ahead of us that I need to take avoiding action on. We close right in the braking zone. The driver up ahead has locked his tyres and he's got on the gas too hard there, and he is out of contention as well. And then there were 2 of us left, myself and Challoner, and I've got a run on him here, coming down into the braking zone into third gear, but I'm just not close enough to get alongside. He defends that very, very nicely, but this looks as if it's going to be the battle to the end of the race. We're on to lap 10 then, and we're still lapping very close together. Challoner gets it in deep there into T3. We're both using our push to pass, but hopefully I'm able to get a better exit here. I am closing in the draft, but am I going to be close enough to make a move? I'm just going to feint to the inside, try and put the driver up ahead off. He does lock his tyres through the corner, but he's able to keep the car on track and hold the position. We're going to fast forward now all the way to the final lap, and still this battle is continuing. We've got one last lap then to try and force a move here. We have together caught up with the pack of cars up ahead. We're actually not that far away from P6 in this race, so although we've made up 10 positions off the start, actually we're not that far from the front of the grid. We're going to make a move along the outside then of Challoner as other drivers up ahead fighting, and we're just pushed wide, and Challoner holds the position. That may well have been my best chance of making up one more spot in this race, but look up ahead, drivers fighting all across the track, and actually Challoner is going to make up a position. He's squeezed down the inside of Alberto Balsalabre there, and I'm now tucked underneath his rear wing. And we can't forget about Alex Otero, who is still in close attendance behind me here. This is going to be a sprint to the finish, and I've just ran out of my push to pass as we come down the hill and through the left-hander. So I am now going to be really at a disadvantage to any of the drivers around me who do have some of that boost. I didn't time it correctly. Am I going to pay the price for that coming into the final two corners here as we try and carry as much speed as possible? Otero is right in close behind me, but he's not going to have enough time or enough room to capitalise, and we're going to cross the start-finish line in P12. Wow, that was intense. And thankfully, at last, we got a clean and exciting run around the Red Bull Ring. Really enjoyable race. I've got to say I'm massively relieved because my other races this week have not been that enjoyable, but we managed to hold our own. We came back from having messed up our qualifying, and I'm happy with that. If you enjoyed the video, please do leave a like, get subscribed, and if you want more awesome racing action, check out the video on screen now.